with running, and it showed. Running does that. In a sense, it both changes and chronicles our lives. At our reunion, we talked and talked, mostly about the pressures we had on us for years. While mine involved controversies about women's rights in sports, hers were the memories of the assumptions outsiders made about her achievements and her career as a runner, including the notion that overbearing coaches and parents were abusing her by pushing her too hard, which was totally wrong. Maureen said, "I pushed myself. I was ambitious, and I looked unhappy when I ran because I was always running as hard as I could go. I realize now I didn't need to take it so seriously then. I made it hard." Since my experience at Boston 52 years ago put me in the spotlight, I have dedicated my life to giving women around the globe an equal chance to run far and run fast. Mo, on the other hand, never got the credit she deserved for being the trailblazer that she is. Until now. Prologue. On April 13, 2003, a 29-year-old British phenom named Paula Radcliffe flew through the streets of London, her 2 churning feet propelling her forward for 26.2 miles, at a pace most of us could not keep up with if we were sprinting. She averaged 11.6 miles per hour, edging toward the speed limit for cars in residential neighborhoods. On TV stations broadcasting the race around the world, millions watched her take the lead of the London Marathon from the start. Thousands more witnessed her run in person. During the final mile, which she ran in roughly 5 minutes, more than twice as fast as the average female marathoner, cheering spectators pushed against the metal barricades, 4, sometimes 5 rows deep. Grimacing as she lifted her hands above her head, Paula charged through the finish line tape, then collapsed forward, grabbing her legs, utterly exhausted. She had shattered the women's marathon world record by more than 2 minutes, with an astonishing time of 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 25 seconds. She was promptly rewarded with laurels and fanfare, $255,000 in prize money, an audience with British royals, interviews on morning and evening talk shows, household name status for running fans around the globe. It was an incredible athletic achievement, not to mention one of the most important moments in women's running. But none of it would have been possible if not for the grit and courage of a wiry 13-year-old Canadian girl from the suburbs of Toronto, Ontario, named Maureen Wilton. Over the span of 85 years, an estimated 26 women besides Paula have had the singularly unique experience of standing at a finish line and realizing no other woman in the history of the world has completed 26.2 miles faster than me on foot. Some of those women were treated like Paula. They earned prize money, met world dignitaries, were greeted by screaming fans. But the further you jump back in time, the more underwhelming the reaction. Finish lines weren't filled with enthusiastic spectators or officials in suits holding ceremonial tape. Instead, there were blustering men, livid that a woman had the audacity to run a marathon. In other cases, hardly anyone watched at all. Much of women's running history has been plagued by controversy, hate mail, and court cases. For decades, women were barred from running long distances. Some doctors spouted nonsense about running's dangers for a woman's health. They claimed that jostling from a running stride over several miles could damage a female's reproductive system and make her infertile. Others believed running long distances simply wasn't feminine, that it was improper for a woman to sweat in public or do something so physically demanding. Those women who did run were ridiculed, often while they trained. But slowly, attitudes changed. By 2010, more women were crossing finish lines than men. In 2016, more than 7 million women participated in a road race, compared to just over 5 million men. That's because a group of brave rule breakers, women who wanted to run fast and run far, forced their way into the sport, despite insults, public outcry, and defaming newspaper articles. They love to run.